from Intellidance here. I'm going to start the Teacher Tip Tuesday in just a few seconds. I'm just getting myself set up and giving you time to sign in and join me. I have my laptop over there and I'm going to kind of see if throughout, if you are watching this live, if you are able to type in questions that I can see on my computer and then answer them. If for some reason that's not showing up on my computer, then if you have any questions, I will make sure I will answer them in the comments below after I publish this video a little bit later. So I'm just going to kind of spend the next minute getting some stuff ready, allowing more of you, I see we have one viewer, hi guys, allowing a few more of you to come on and watch this live. Oh, two, awesome, thank you so much for watching. So we'll just wait about 30 seconds, I'll get my stuff set up. I'm sorry the lighting's a little bit weird because I'm in my dining room today and spacing's going to be a little bit of a factor too, just because there are some things I want you to be able to see my full body. So I will do my best to make sure I am talking loudly and clearly, but again, any questions, definitely make sure to add them in the comments afterwards. So we're just going to give everyone like another minute to get here and hopefully enjoy this Teacher Tip Tuesday with me. As you can see, I have my box of instruments ready to go. If you are in Canada, the instruments I'm showing you today are not my entire collection. I'm just showing you a few that we use in our programs. I do have some of my drums and shakers coming in the next 2 weeks, so once those are here, I will do another Teacher Tip Tuesday using those. But I ordered my instruments in Canada from a place called Empire Music. You can go to empiremusic.com. I believe they also ship to the States. They've got a really great selection of early childhood instruments, really great quality instruments that meet safety testing standards, and they're just going to have a lot of longevity, so I do recommend them. You can also always search through Amazon, and afterwards in the comments I will leave a link to another American music supplier that I've used in the past. Unfortunately, right now our Canadian dollar is low, so I have to be really picky and choosy about what I order from my friends down in the US. I'm hoping that our dollar will go up, and that will help all of that. Well, I'm going to get started today, so let's start and see what's in my box. Lots of packing, that's great, keeping things safe. And alright, okay, I got to start with one of these bad boys. Every teacher needs one of these. I'll get a little bit closer so you can see as I'm unpackaging this. So this is a slide whistle. I think this cost me like $2. They're really inexpensive, but if you teach preschool classes, you need to have this as a prop in your class. It is one of the best transitional, student-focusing instruments that I have and use, and you're gonna see why in a minute. So this is the slide whistle. As you can see, it's got a little slider on it here, and I'll show you how it works. So if you teach kids, right away, you know this is like awesome. As soon as they hear that and you pull this out, they all stop and they look at you and they're like, oh my gosh, what is this magical instrument? So this is a slide whistle. So I'm going to share with you a few different ways that I use the slide whistle in my class. If you've been following the Intellidance page for a while, you know that we teach using a conceptual dance method, which means all of our classes are based on different dance concepts. So the slide whistle often comes out when I'm doing concepts like body parts or level, and then we match it with the musical concept of pitch. So high and low and in the middle. So the nice thing about the slide whistle is that it allows you as the teacher to completely control the pitch that you are using. And I have the students match the high pitch with high movements, low pitch with low movements, and the middle pitch with middle movements. So to get started, what I would do is I would have the kids come and sit in the circle with me, and we would start this as a seated activity. And I would start by reminding the kids about our levels. So we would talk about, I would say, dancers, can you show me with your hands? Where can your hands dance down low? And they might come down here, down low, low by the ground, underneath our belly button. Then, where can our fingers dance if they're high? And we'd stretch high above our head, over those shoulders. And then what about the middle? That's in between our shoulders and our hips. So we're in the middle. So we would start this activity by doing this seated, just so the children get a chance to match level and pitch using a smaller body part in a seated position, so it's a little bit more controlled. They really get a chance to think about it. So we might start, and I would play low, down, low, and they would show me their fingers down low. As you can imagine, they are really excited by this point. Their fingers have been dancing. We've been trying those high and low levels. The nice thing about the slide whistle, again, using different breath patterns, I can have a long sustained movement, or I can make it a little bit sharper, a little bit more staccato. So after we've done this in a seated, then I would bring them out into the dance space, and we would try this with our whole bodies. So once all the dancers have their own space in the dance space, and again, if you watched my last video, you may want to have some polydots preset if you're working on non-locomotor movements in place. The dancers find their dots. Usually I'll have them start either at a high or a low level, and we'll play the game again. And play at the same time. Normally by this point I'm just playing the slide whistle and the kids are moving because we've already had a chance to kind of introduce the concept with our fingers. So that would be just purely exploring the concept of level. Now if I wanted to combine level with body parts, I could take the kids into the space like I did. We might start with our whole body moving, but then I might say to them, all right, can you show me how one foot can match the level of the slide whistle? So we might talk about base of support. They might start on their back, and if we're doing one foot, it might look something like this. So you get the idea. We might then go on and try an elbow. They really love the bum. They think that's so silly, that's so funny. But it really does challenge them again as we're using different body parts, changing those levels. They're having to listen to those auditory cues and then match that physically to a movement concept of level. Adding the body parts then, we're working on isolating a body part and exploring the different ways that body part can change level. Different body parts may require different bases of support. So oftentimes, if I'm using bum as an example with the little ones, if we're sitting on our bum, we're not going to be able to have that movement. So how can we use different bases of support? So the kids sometimes explore maybe being in a crab walk position. They can move that bum low and high. We'll flip it over. We'll be more in a bear crawl position. And then I let them get creative. Some of them want to try knees. So it's also a great way to introduce different bases of support. We're going to be working that upper body movement as well, so they're getting stronger as they're bearing weight with their upper body. But like seriously, this is such a fun instrument, and oftentimes if I just need to reset my class, I need to get their attention, we're having one of those off days, we'll bring out the slide whistle. I do usually try to have a few, so as you can see I've got a couple. With my older preschool classes, the 4 and the 5-year-olds, after we've introduced this concept for a few weeks, then I will let them be the conductor and they get to move that slide whistle as well. So just make sure you're disinfecting them after classes. I find just like some nice sudsy water, or Benefect is the product that I like to use, the spray and dry product that's going to be all natural botanicals, but it's going to kill all of those germs and viruses. So that's a great thing to do as well. So you've got your slide whistle. Super simple, super fun. It only costs a couple bucks. If the only thing you go out and buy after this video is the slide whistle, I promise you, you're gonna have so much fun with it in class. Oh, and I totally forgot one more thing. So, a little bit more advanced. If we want to talk about the concept of body parts level and balance, last time you watched my Teacher Tip Tuesday, I talked about how I use beanbags in class. So with my 3, 4, and definitely with my 5-year-olds, you could also do this with kids up to age 8, 9, 10. I mean, really, they just have a lot of fun with it. We can try balancing that beanbag on a body part. I'm going to stick with hand just because I'm going to show you with the slide whistle here. And then they can make that body part and that balanced beanbag move at those different levels. So let's give that a try. Example there, but get creative with your kids, challenge them. Maybe they're balancing it on their head, maybe it's on their back, maybe it's on a foot or on a knee. Usually when I'm doing this with the kids, it's not about all the beanbags staying in place. I will say to the kids beforehand, what happens if your beanbag falls off? All you need to do is put it back on and try it again. So we're just trying, we're just exploring, and that's just another way you can kind of continue to progress and advance that exploration. So lots of fun, slide whistles, maybe you need your poly dots and a beanbag. So nice and simple with that one. So I hope you guys like that too. I'm just going to take a second here and see if I can see this video on my feed on my computer, just in case anyone has any questions. I'll see if this is showing up live for me. Oh yeah, look, there I am. Hi Melissa, glad you're watching. Thanks for loving it, Paul. So I am able to see your comments, so if you have a question, definitely pop it in. I'll take a peek in a few more minutes and answer those questions as they come up. All right, so let's see what else we have in the box today. All right, I love this next one, and I'm sure a lot of you are already using these in your classes. So these are rhythm sticks. Again, super inexpensive. I think for a set of rhythm sticks, it costs about $1.50. Come a little bit closer so you can see mine. So I'm just going to open up this other package here. So I do like to have the 2 different kinds. You can see. One is kind of like a smooth stick, nice and smooth. And the other one's bumpy. And so those bumpy ones are great because the kids can do that rubbing action. They get that nice vibration, that tactile, especially in the babies class. I love to have these kind of bumpy ones so that we can really have that vibration right on the baby's skin. But the kids love it too. I mean, who doesn't love to buzz and feel that? I know, I'm a great big kid. I like to play the way that they play too. Hi, Inborg, thanks for joining me. It's so nice to see some of you coming out today. So, my sticks. First of all, the sticks come in various sizes. I recommend for the little ones getting these shorter sticks. These guys are only about, I don't even think they're 30 centimeters. I'm not sure what that is in inches for my American friends, but you can see they're fairly short, right? They're not that big. You can get them quite a bit longer, and I do have some of those in my prop collection as well for the older kids. But for the little kids, we want them to be safe with the sticks. We want to avoid them potentially injuring themselves. So the smaller the stick, the better for small hands. They're going to be able to move with them a lot more. My sticks are also wooden sticks. And, you know, it's up to you whether you go wooden or plastic. Plastic obviously is probably going to have a little bit longer lifespan. I will say after a while, you're going to notice the wooden sticks, especially if they've been banged on the floor and played with a lot, they're going to start to splinter and split. That's the time you need to put them aside. No one wants to get hurt in dance class, and you definitely don't want any of the parents complaining that they've gotten a sliver or their little one's gotten a sliver. So do check your sticks. However, I still go with the wooden ones and just replace my sticks about every 2 years. I find they last about 2 years because I love the sound quality that they make. You can still clean them the same way you can the plastic ones. Again, just be mindful, don't leave them sitting in water. Clean them, wipe them off, wipe them down, and then put them away to dry. But I just find that the sound quality you get from the wooden sticks is a lot more appealing than the plastic sticks. So these are my sticks. So really basic things we can do with the sticks. Obviously, we can use the sticks to help the little ones start to keep a beat. So again, in Intellidance, we explore different concepts. So really basically, usually the first place I start with the kids is we just do a play and stop song. So when the music plays, I model different ways so we can keep the beat. When you're working with little ones, it's really important to try to model your body moving to that beat too, whether you're bouncing or rocking. That's going to give them a way more visual than this. So think this. Yeah, you can kind of see me doing, but as soon as I start rocking in the video, that becomes a lot more clear. Our little ones need that clarity. So just add a little bit of that rock side to side. So when the music plays, we might try some different ways. We're going to tap those sticks together. And when the music stops, we stop and we wait and we're stillness. Honestly, for little ones who are under the age of 3, even with my new kids coming into a 4- and 5-year-old class, I like to start there. We need to establish that there are some guidelines we need to follow, some expectations, and the kids know when I do this, they do the same thing. That means stick stop. So you're not trying to talk over kids, it's really loud, and you've got a little one who's got their hands over their ears. So again, you want to set up those expectations, but in a fun way. So we might just start by tap, tap, tap. Tapping my sticks, 1, 2, 3. Tapping my sticks, 1, 2, 3. Tapping my sticks, 1, 2, 3. Won't you tap along with me? Tap, tap, 1, 2, stop. Tap, tap, 1, 2, stop. Tap, tap, 1, 2, stop. Thanks for tapping along with me. Buzzing my sticks, 1, 2, 3. Buzzing my sticks, 1, 2, 3. Buzzing my sticks, 1, 2, 3. Won't you buzz along with me? Bzz, bzz. 1, 2, stop. Bzz, bzz. 1, 2, stop. Bzz, bzz. 1, 2, stop. Thanks for buzzing along with me. And you can add lots of different modifications. Sometimes, I'll back up a bit so you can see this. We'll turn those sticks into a little hammer. So one is the hammer, one is the nail. If you think about it in terms of hand-eye coordination, that's a really good one for them. They're going to really work on that. Sometimes we'll roll the sticks, so I'll put one down, and we'll roll those sticks back and forth. We can play our sticks side to side, down low. So lots of different ways to play with those sticks. But I do really recommend when you're beginning, start with a play and stop activity so they start to understand the different cues in the class. Another simple way to do this is if you are exploring the concept of speed. There are so many wonderful kind of fast, slow, and stop songs out there. So that might be your next progression. We're going to listen to the music, and when it plays fast, we're going to tap really, really fast. When it plays slow, we're going to play slow. But when the music stops, we're going to stop. One of my favorite songs for that activity is a song called Tempo Tantrum, not Temper Tantrum, Tempo Tantrum, and it's by Eric Chappelle. You can find it on iTunes. Unfortunately, none of Eric Chappelle's music is on Spotify. I will be creating a little Spotify playlist that will be public for you afterwards that has some songs that I like to use for these tapping ones. Another really great one, I'm going to see if I can bring it up on my computer just to play you a little bit. It's by a children's group called We Kids Rock, and it's called Tap Tap Your Rhythm Sticks, and it's like this total kind of like rock and roll song. It's kind of like an action song. If you watched my Musical Mondays yesterday, we talked a lot about action songs and how action songs are really beneficial for our kids. So this one's kind of an action song that uses instruments. We're going to tap these in different ways. It gets the kids listening. And I find, especially if you have boys in your class, we need to make sure as dance educators in early childhood, we are getting the boys interested in dance. And I'm not trying to gender, exclude people or say girls do this and boys do this. Absolutely, I have so many girls who love this songs too. But when I'm teaching my Fit Hop Tots program, which is kind of a hip hop version of the Intellidance program for preschoolers, I might include this song in there because the boys absolutely love it. So I'm going to see if I can bring it up here for you. Let's see. Now, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to hear this. It's on my computer at home, but I'm hoping you will get an idea. You can hopefully hear that little bit of a rock and roll beat, so we start at the tap to the beat. Oh yeah. Keeping that body moving so they see that beat. The tap, tap, tap those sticks. Oh, the kids are so excited at this point. Let's see what he says next. Roll. So we're going to come to that roll down here. You can make it a stretch, rolling on the legs. Little hamstring stretch stuck in there. Then we come back and we tap. And I might give the kids a pattern. We might go low, high, low, high. side. Or we could go side to side if we're doing directions or front and back. Lots of different ways. You just do for the kids. They follow you. They're having a great time. Oh, we're coming back. What do they say? Oh, zip your sticks. That's like a buzz. So we have to zip them just like this. Oh, I love this next one. We're going to march them. So we alternate one at a time, like that. Just like our knees. We'll take turns as we march. And then we're back to that chorus where you can play along. Maybe you slow the beat down. Maybe speed that beat up and go. So you get the idea. So I will add that song. I did find it on Spotify earlier today. I will add that song to that playlist, so if you want to include it with your kids, it's so fun. I mean, who doesn't want to be a rock and roll star with these sticks? Another thing I like to do with the sticks in terms of teaching dance concepts is we can take like another rock and roll type song like that, and we can use one of these polygrip dots if we're doing it individually with the kids. So this becomes their drum. These are their drumsticks. The nice thing too is if you have really nice hardwood floors in your dance studio and you don't want the sticks banging them up, this is going to provide a little bit of a safety guard there. It's also going to dampen the sound a bit. So you can hear it's a little bit louder on my floor. The polygrip dots just kind of dampen that a bit. So we might use this to do relationships. So we're going to be drummers in class, and maybe we've been doing obstacle courses where we've been going over and under. I like to do an activity called Bears and Mountains, where half of the kids become mountains, they make big mountain shapes with their bodies, and the other kids become bears, and we practice moving under the mountains and around the mountains. Maybe the kids change to be small hills, the bears can go over. So we've introduced a lot of this language physically in the class. The instruments allow us to continue to work on beat and rhythm and continue to just work on those concept words we've been exploring in class. So I like to do a little drumming game. Two versions. If we're working on it individually, which is usually what I recommend when you start with kids, start one-on-one, especially the little guys. Partnering is like a whole other webinar. So maybe I'll do one of those in the next few weeks, how I work partnering into my preschool classes. It is definitely an art. So I would usually start with the kids the first week. We'd all have our dots. We'd be sitting, we'd have that dot on the ground. And before I even turn on the music, I'd be like, okay dancers, show me how your sticks can play on your drum. Show me how your sticks can play off your drum. Show me how your sticks can play around your drum. How can they play beside your drum? We have two sides. How can they play in front? How can they play behind? So we're using that circle dot and we're just really briefly reintroducing those vocabulary words so that kids can now take that relationship vocabulary and apply it to a seated musical activity. So I'll pop on that song for you. I'll show you a quick little demo of how I would do that with my kids. Normally, if I need to go turn on the music in my class, I do have an Apple Watch now, which is awesome. I highly recommend getting one if you need it. It's like your remote control, it goes everywhere with you. It's fantastic. But if you need to, have the kids sitting and waiting, I say, okay, dancers, get those drumsticks ready. Hold them there, nice and still, freeze. And usually they're pretty good about it, especially if you've laid down those expectations in class earlier, like I explained. So I love the Punta Mayo music. A few weeks ago, I discussed that in Musical Monday, the great different Punta Mayo collections. So they have one called Punta Mayo Rock and Roll Playground, which is super fun. And on that one, there is a song called Oh Susanna, and it is by a group called Rhythm Child. Again, I couldn't find this one on Spotify, but it's definitely on iTunes. So we'll get that song going. All right, dancers, do you hear that beat? Can you play that beat? Sticks together, 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 together. So I start by establishing that beat. We've got the sticks coming together. We're using that relationship word. Now we're going to use our little drum pad to explore more. Let's play on the drum. We play on, 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 on. And I'm just going to try to get the kids to say that vocabulary word to the beat. Let's try off. We play off, off, off. We play on, on. We play off, off, off. We play on. Let's get pattern. front, behind. Oh, let's play around. We play around, 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 around. So we're going to change that tempo again. Around, 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 around. And there you go. You get the idea. So, one way I might progress this in class. We start that first week. Everyone's got their own drum pad we're really focusing on. Let's give them the vocabulary words. Let's explore the same concept we've been exploring with our bodies, now with instruments. Developing beat, developing musicality. It's a great way to just add some recuperation time in class. Kids cannot go for 30 minutes hard, 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 moving, 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 and really stay in that good kind of quiet, alert learning state. We need to make sure we're giving them the break times. So musical instruments oftentimes for me become a way we recuperate. We're still working on lots of our goals in class. It's just giving the kids a little bit of chance to rest and come back into their quiet, alert state. So we would start just the way I showed you. Week 2, if the kids really got it, I might have us all sit in a circle and we would take turns going around. So I would say to the kids, all right, I want you to think about one of those relationship words and I want you to think how you can play your drum that way. So what's a different way you can play on? What's a different way you can play off? So everyone, I want you to think of an idea and we're all going to get a turn to be the leader today. So basically, then I would go around the circle as the song's playing. I would call the child's name. Sometimes the kids will tell you, I'm playing on the drum, Miss Jessica, which is awesome. A lot of kids are shy. They may not do that. Hey, Robin, thanks for joining. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, I can see you guys. Sorry, back to this though. So they may not tell you that, and that's okay. If a child doesn't tell me, and let's say they were playing beside the drum, and maybe they're playing beside the drum really, really fast, I would say, oh, Susan's playing beside her drum really, really fast. Dancers, let's match Susan, and we would all match. And by the end of the song, all of the kids have had a turn to show me that they understand at least one relationship word. They've got the confidence to be the leader. That's big for kids, especially when they start to get to 3, 4, 5. They want to be the leaders in the class. I do this as well with my parent and talk classes. The parents are just there to help and support and model. And then we're learning how to take turns. We're learning how to shift attention. I mean, every single one of these activities is teaching them so many different skills that really have nothing to do with dance, but are so important in life. And that really is when you're a preschool dance teacher. You're not just, hey, Lena, you're not just teaching them dance skills or music skills. We're teaching them life skills. We're teaching them developmental skills. That is the most important thing you need to remember as a preschool dance teacher. When they are doing something wrong, it's not really that they're doing something wrong or being bad. It's a learning opportunity. So if we always approach it as the kid is just learning, they need my help and guidance, you're going to keep your cool, and class is going to be a lot more fun place to be. So one last progression I'll show you. So this is where my hula hoop comes in. The hula hoop is like a great big drum. It's right here. I put it down. Now for this variation, again, I would have already done probably the by ourselves, follow along with me. Then we would do the change the leader. Then we would get them into pairs. So the kids would sit facing each other, so kind of like you're facing me. We'd all have our sticks, and the inside of the hula hoop becomes the drum. And throughout the song, we would switch back and forth. So I would say, leader 1, you get to start as the leader. When the music plays, Miss Jessica is going to call out a relationship word. I might say, on the drum. And so you have to pick a way to play on the drum. Your partner has to copy you. So one child's the leader. I've given them the concept word, on or off or around. But then the child gets to decide how to do the movement, and their partner has to copy them. When I pause the music, we will switch partners. And so I always let the kids know before we go into the activity, because it is having your own turn and being the leader is a big deal when you are 3. I think it's a big deal when you're an adult too, for most of us. But I do let the kids know that. Don't worry. And then when I pause the music, it's leader 2's turn. If your kids have trouble with leader 1 or leader 2, I keep some red and blue stamps in my class when I partner them up. One's red, one's blue. the kid can't remember, oh look, I look at my hand, the color stamp is there. It lets me know who my partner is. So that's another really great way to utilize stamps in your class other than a bribe or reward system. I'm not really big on that in my preschool classes. Again, that's another webinar coming up. But it's just a quick way to make sure throughout class you're not like, whose turn is it? Oh, who has red? Red, okay, you're the leader. Or blue, you're the leader. So you can use colors. You know, most of my kids, though, after they spend some time with me, usually when I'm partnering them up, I'll say, all right, leader 1, show me 1 finger. All right, leader 2, show me 2 finger. I make sure the kids all have a 1 or a 2 and it makes sense with the matching and we're good. It's another skill that they learn. We teach them these skills in preschool dance class. By the time they get into our older kid dance classes at 6, 7, 8, where the expectations are higher, they have those skills already. So if you don't teach preschool, be nice to your preschool teachers. They're teaching your dance kids all the ways they need to be in dance class. And if they do a good job, you're going to have an easier job once they get older. So awesome with the sticks. I have one more activity I will show you with the sticks today. And this is one that is more moving. Now, with my little kids classes, we have a little transition chant when I'm passing out the sticks that goes slow, slow, quick, 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 slow, slow, quick, quick, quick. You gotta sit, sit, sit with sticks. You gotta sit, sit, sit with sticks. And I will continue to chant that. I will have the parents continue to chant that. When the kids get their sticks, we encourage them to chant that. So this is for my under 3s. I don't generally want them moving through the space holding the sticks. For me, it's just too much liability, too much risk. Kids are always putting things in their mouths, so you need to be really careful, especially with the little guys. They're not gagging on that. That is not fun. Chances are they're not going to hurt themselves, but you could end up with puke all over your floor. It's happened in my class. I know. This is how I learn these things, because they happen in my class, and I go, duh, shouldn't have let them done that. But anyways, just with the little ones, I do recommend keeping the stick activities seated. Once they are over 3, that is where you're going to need to use your best teacher judgment. There are some groups of kids I would never do this activity with. There are other groups of children who are 3, 4, and 5 I would absolutely do this activity with. This is not a first week of dance class activity. This is a once you get to know your class. So we're going to explore energy, and we are going to look at sharp and smooth. So I find in terms of the concept of energy, it's one of the most challenging concepts for young children to learn. It's very abstract to them. Sharp versus smooth. It's something that they have to kind of feel. It's got to be a tactile physicalization of that concept before they're cognitively really able to understand it. So when I'm doing exploration of energy with the kids, you're going to see a lot of prop use, a lot of touch, a lot of different things like that, so they can really start to understand that difference in energy. So we're going to visit the Enchanted Castle. It's so exciting. 2 different groups live in this castle. One moves with very sharp energy, and those are my knights. And my knights like to dance to the sharp staccato music with their swords. And absolutely, girls can be knights. We've got our armor on that makes our bodies move a little bit sharper to that sharp music. Freeze! So, the other people who live in my castle are the dancing princesses with their flowing gowns. So the dancing princesses have scarves that they like to move with. And I don't know, oh, they're over here, 1 second. Here we go. There we go, they dance with the scarves. They also like to dance to legato music. That's our special music word for smooth. So when you hear the smooth legato music, we're going to dance with a smooth body, lightly like those princesses, twirling and swaying and floating through the castle. There we go. So this is a taking turns game. I will play this game for 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how much the kids like it. 2 weeks, absolutely, because they need to have a chance to be either the knight or the princess, depending on what they were the week before. So again, this is where your polydots come in handy. You can set out the polydots, and I would have them set out in the space. I might only use 2 colors again to help the kids. If you're a princess, you're on purple. If you're a knight, you're on red. We'll use that as the example. The kids are still seated with me. I give out 1 prop first. All right, all of my knights, you have your sticks. When I say 1, 2, 3, pop up, you're gonna find a red dot and make a sharp, pointy shape in that space, frozen like a statue because there's no music. Ready? 1, 2, 3, pop up! And they go and they've got their sticks and they make that shape. And when I see them all frozen there, I say, awesome job, we're ready to go. While the knights have been doing that, I have been giving the princesses their scarves. So they have their purple dot right here. So those are already out in the space. All right, I'll say, princesses, when I count to 3, 1, 2, 3, pop up. You need to float with your scarves all the way to a purple dot and show me a nice, smooth, round, curvy shape. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, pop up. And they go and they float and they float and they come and they make a beautiful, smooth shape. Actually, they're little girls, so they're probably going to be more like ballerinas like this, but you get the idea. So then I just need to use a song that alternates sharp and smooth sections. One that, again, Eric Chappelle, I really, really love, is called I Say, You Say. So I Say, You Say. It's kind of great. The title even implies taking turns. So I'm going to bring that one up for you to show you. Here we go. Hopefully you can hear this. So you can I kind of like it. It's kind of like Arabian Nights theme. So this would be the smooth music. So I would say, princesses, wake up in the castle. You can come off your dot. Show me how you dance smoothly through the space. And they've got the scarves. So it's a wonderful visualization for them of what smooth movement feels like, what it looks like. I'm moving through the space. And I would say, princesses, back to your dots. Hold your shape. So they would come back. Now we hear that staccato music. That's the knights. The knights wake up and move. And I try to model this with them so they get the idea of working on that beat. Sharp, 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 yeah, yeah. And we're talking about moving safely, not tapping our sticks on anyone else. And it continues to go back and forth like that as well. So that is a super fun way you can use the sticks and another prop, a scarf, and turn it into a whole body activity. They love that one. I have a couple others that I like to do as well. Basically, to give kids props, I find in creative dance, they're just re-inspired. I tend to save my props for the end of class unless I have something really specific I want to introduce with them, because it's my other little teacher trick. Beginning of the class, you tend to have more of their attention. It's when we're getting towards the end of class that attention, it starts to go, and I want to see mom, or I gotta pee, or when are we done? So to avoid those comments coming out, you bring out the instruments, you bring out the props, you let them play and explore all of those concepts, all of those ideas you've been exploring early in your class, maybe just with their body, you now bring to something else, and that re-engages them, that re-inspires them. They're excited. Kids love to feel smart. So you teach them something, and they understand it in one context, and then you ask them to apply it to another context, and they're like, yeah, man, I can do it. And they're so excited when they do. And then you have to be so excited for them too. So it's just a lot of fun. So really simple with those sticks. Okay. I've only got one more for today. This is already getting long. I'm going to check in a couple seconds, see if there's any questions. If there's not, no worries. You can always post questions later. I will come back and look at them and see. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if it's going to show me your questions now. We'll try one more time. We'll let that load. But I will honestly answer the questions. You can always message me. You can always leave a comment on a video that I post. I love to help other dance teachers. Really, my whole goal is to just get more people teaching preschool dance. It is an art, it is a science, it is a skill, but it's really going to set up the rest of our dance studio, the rest of our kids' dance education to be positive if they have a positive early experience. Kids who have a positive early experience, thumbs up to that. I saw that thumbs up. They are going to stay with you. They stay with you. If they go to dance class and it's not fun, and we are not playing, and it's all like, okay, let's releve and point our toes and do our pliés, you're going to have like this many kids that want to do that. And like, don't get me wrong, ballet is great, and you can add ballet theming, but you need to keep it play-based. You need to understand where they are developmentally. Play is children's work. So keep it fun, keep it positive, and then when they're 8 and 9 and 10 and ready for more of that technical, that dig deep, that get into it, really understanding that dance, they're going to want to go there because dance is something that's just a part of them. They love it. When I started my classes, part of the reason I did is I was a school teacher. I worked in the inner city, and I was working in resiliency programs. Basically, it was my job to work with 3- and 4-year-olds to prepare them for kindergarten. They were behind for various different reasons. A lot of them came from very tough situations, and my job was to catch them up. And I did so much dance and music and art with them in my classes. And this is really about keeping those initial experiences positive. But when I had my first daughter, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back to that environment. I loved working with young kids, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was seeing a counselor, and we were talking about all of this, and she said to me, when is a moment in your life you felt most joyful? And so I thought about it for a moment, and I said to her, I remember being about 4 or 5 in my creative dance class. Thank you, Miss Sally. I love Miss Sally. She's my dance teacher from the time I was 4 until I was 12. She ran the best creative dance program. She is such a mentor in my life, and I'm so thankful for her. But she had us doing these skips that we called oranges and bananas. They were a really fun contraction and extension skip. And, you know, I probably was a totally awkward, uncoordinated kid. But in my mind's memory, I just remember doing oranges and bananas and feeling like I was flying, feeling so free, feeling pure joy. And so when I told that to the counselor, she said, that's what you need to do. You're a teacher. You need to teach kids creative dance. You need to be the person who provides them with that joy. So Miss Sally provided me with that joy, and like, look, she's like influenced my entire professional career. Not all of your kids are going to grow up to be performers. Not all of them are going to be dance teachers. But if we instill that love, that passion at a young age, it's going to be awesome. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there. So I have one more instrument I'm going to show you. This is the only pitched instrument that I use in my Intellidance program. So pitched means it plays an actual note. Shakers, the sticks, all of that, they're not actually playing any notes. And I love early childhood music. Music and dance are like my 2 equal passions. I love them equally. So I try to include a little bit of musicality in my classes. The great thing is with young kids, the research shows, if we have them singing along, if we have them exploring music, exploring instruments, exploring their voices, until they're about age 5, they don't need any strict musical education above and beyond that. It's really about learning listening skills and feeling comfortable exploring rhythm and beat and our voices. So one that I have here, I'll show you. These are called Resonator bells. Oh, this is going to be the awkward part because I didn't pre-open this. This is what you get when you unveil your stuff live. All right, so these are a resonator bell. This one is in the note of D. So, as you can see, if you did elementary music, you probably had xylophones in your class. So resonator bells are basically a single note xylophone. So this one plays D, and I'm going to open a second one because this one plays A. And I'm going to explain to you why in a moment. These are the 2 notes that if you're going to buy a pitched musical instrument for your early childhood classes, you buy these ones, A and D. So you can hear this one. You can hear that note up high. There's my D down low. High, low, high, low. So right away, again, as teachers, how do we inspire kids? We add some novelty. When I start singing and playing, all the kids want to join in. Come on, you know you want to join in too. It's super fun. So we've got A and D. So when we play A and D, we create what's called in music an open fifth. And an open fifth is a wonderful thing because we can play along to a lot of different children's songs in an open fifth. A lot of the music that is written for children is written in a key that works with this open fifth because it is the key musically they can most easily sing along to. So I like to use these in my class. I generally introduce them when we are exploring pitch because we're talking about highs and lows in our body, and then we're exploring pitch with our voices and with the music auditorily. So that's when I introduce it. However, I have been with some of my kids' classes adding it into energy because from an auditory standpoint, this is a longer sustained note in sound versus sharp, 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 6. So you get the idea. we're just using a lot of their different senses to teach them. So this whole visual, auditory, and kinesthetic method, the VAC model towards teaching children, we're bringing that in. So you can try it with energy as well. So these are my resonator bells. They're wonderful. They're great for singing along. So I'm going to show you now. I'm going to sit down, and usually when I'm passing out the bells, first of all, you want to be passing them out. Oh, one thing I should have mentioned too, I should make notes before I do these things. I just kind of wing it. Hopefully that's okay with everyone. It's kind of my style. These are plastic. So again, super easy to clean. I do use these in my babies and my Tykes classes. With the babies class, I introduce it more towards the end. We're really careful with the babies that they're not but by about like 8 months, the babies are able to start striking. And I mean, the moms and the dads and the grandparents are so excited, like, look, my baby's playing a musical instrument. And the babies do love the beautiful sound that this makes. So anyways, you can use these. But again, for the kids, they're an easy product to clean. They're pretty durable. Like, this is my new set. My old set's probably 5, 6 years old, and it's still going strong over at Shadow Dance, the studio that I sold. I know they're still using them there. So they do cost a little bit more money, but a really good investment. They're gonna last you a long time. They're sturdy, easy to clean. So resonator bells, just like this. Just got a bin, stack them in there, spray them, you're good. All right, so we've got those bells. So usually the kids will have been transitioned to a seated circle area, either with their caregivers or over in the listening area as well. And I will let them know we're going to get out a special instrument. So I will start playing. Ding dong, ding dong, hear the bells in our song. Ding dong, ding dong, everybody play along. High, low, high, low. In a parenting class, after I've sung that once, I go to a caregiver that I know is awesome and will participate and lead, and I'll get them to start, and then I'll start handing them out, and then we've got that going so that I can continue to sing as I pass things out. So that's another teacher tip of mine. Find those like maven parents, those like rock star parents in your classes who love to participate, who probably should be preschool teachers themselves, and get them to help you. They can do this. There's nothing hard about playing these notes. So we'll continue playing along like that. In my kids' classes, generally I will sing it once, we'll pass it out, I'll keep singing. Sometimes the kids are able to pick up and sing along, but the nice thing is because you've already played the notes, as long as you have a decent sense of pitch, you should be able to continue. So once we get back, I might continue. I'm going to back up a bit just so you can see. Sorry guys, I'm still figuring out the best way to film these live videos. Oh, this is so new. So I've got my resonator bells on. Ding dong, ding dong, hear the bells in our song. Ding dong, ding dong, everybody play along. High, low, high, low. Let's keep playing. I know another song I bet you know that goes along with this. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Samedi les matines, ding ding dong, ding ding dong. I know another one I bet a bunch of you know. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. So as you can see, so many songs work with these bells. So oftentimes in my parented classes, what I will do is we will sing the Ding Dong song, we will sing Frère Jacques once on our own, and then I will find Rafi's version of Frère Jacques. And I like Rafi's version because he sings the song once, then there is an instrumental section where there's no singing, so we can either keep singing or we can just play the bells and hear the notes, and then he comes back in. Now, this is usually, I'll just do that much the first week, and then we'll clean up the bells and put them away. If I'm with a class though where the parents are fairly confident, I've been super lucky in a lot of my baby classes last year. I have elementary school music teachers. Woohoo! They're awesome. They do this all day long as a job too, so they become my leader mavens. So then we can work on singing in a round. And most people say, I can't do it, I can't do it. But in a large group, you've got the bells there. That's going to keep everybody in pitch. You get one of your rock star parents to lead. Usually the first group, I get them to get started because once people are started, they can generally keep going. And then I lead the second group. And all the kids and the adults, and you have these beautiful harmonies going on. Your classroom becomes such a musical place. And I think that's so important, even if you're like, but Jessica, I'm not a music teacher, I'm a dance teacher. We can't dance without music. And our brains have a really hard time processing music without movement. So they've done research out of McMaster University, and it's looked at how the brain basically processes music. And they've done studies where they actually trigger people's vestibular systems using like a little electrode, and they will make people like a burrito, so basically they can't move, and they will just have that pulse. So we know when we move our head or we move our body, the vestibular system naturally kicks in. So what they showed with that research was, if they just had people perfectly still without that electrode, the CAT scans on the brains, the MRIs, did not show nearly as much brain firing. When they went to the little electrode pulsing into the vestibular system, that created that firing in the brain. So we really, as dance teachers, have to remind ourselves we are also music teachers. And if you are not a great singer, you just need to practice. It's like dance. We practice our dance steps, we can become better dancers. We practice our singing, we become better singers. And let me tell you, the most masterful early childhood teachers that I have seen in practice, especially in dance, they sing. They're singing all their transitions. They're even singing when they're speaking half the time. Like, I had a parent tell me once, she's like, I don't think I've ever actually heard you just speak. Like, you're always sing-songy and your voice is doing this. That engages the kids. They respond to that. So do yourself a favor if you're an early childhood dance teacher who is not doing a lot of singing. Get confident, take a couple of lessons, join a choir. It's really a simple thing that you can do to just take your teaching to the next level. So Resonator bells, really beautiful. Sometimes in the parent and taught classes too, I'll have the kids play for a while. If we're exploring energy, then maybe the adults continue to play. We get out the scarves and we're dancing with the scarves or the ribbon ones. So the kids then get to dance along. We've got this beautiful music and movement. That's really good too if you've got a class full of parents who aren't so keen on participating. You know, if you give them something a bit more stationary to do that's still involved, that's usually my trick. So I've got a bunch of parents and I know they're not big on, doing the movement. I find a way that they're still involved, they're still supporting the activity, so they're not just chatting, because when they start chatting, the kids are like, oh, that's what I'm talking about, oh, it must be more interesting than the teacher. So it's really about, even if they're not like actively dancing, they're still doing something to support your activity. So get out the Resonator bells, put on one of those, like there's so many songs that you can play these along with, and the parents are playing the music, and then you are doing some movement with the children. And then that way, if you have a little one who doesn't want to leave their parent's side, they can sit beside the parent, they can play or dance with the scarves, they can play the bells. And then sometimes what I do, and the parents don't always love me for this, but they get over it, is the kids will be dancing with the scarves and they'll be playing the bells, and then I'll say, it's time to switch, we're going to take turns. All right, go find your parent. Now you get to play the bell, and the parent is going to dance smoothly for you. And that's another way you can kind of gently encourage parents to start participating. I find with parents who don't want to participate, it honestly is because they feel awkward. Not all of us grew up dancing, singing, like I have a musical theater background, so I'm just kind of big and crazy all the time. That's just where I live. But not everybody lives in that world. And so it can be really overwhelming. It can cause a lot of anxiety to think, oh my gosh, I brought my kid to this dance class, there's all these other parents here, this teacher's like, woohoo, let's go. And I have no idea what to do because I never danced, I never felt confident moving my body. So just giving them those little ways that they can get comfortable in your class, the more the parents participate, we know just the better it is for all of us. As a teacher, you can like do your thing, you can entertain, you can teach, and the parents are there supporting the process. So really trying to get them engaged. I'll probably do another webinar sometime soon talking about tips and tricks for engaging parents in your class, because it's key when you're doing a parent and taught class. When parent and taught classes aren't successful, half the time it's because the parents aren't engaged, and as teachers we haven't given them a way to be engaged. So I'll come back to that in another day. I'm going to quickly look because I can see some of you. On my phone I can see these questions, but I don't think I can scroll. So I'm going to see if I can see them on my computer. We'll give it a try. If not, like I said, I will make sure I respond to all of them in the comments. If you watch this video after the fact, if you could not be live with me, I get it. I'm here. There's people all over the world. Your teaching schedule is going to be totally different than mine. Please, again, feel free to leave a question. I will always come and respond in the comments to you. So I'm just going to quickly see here if I can reload this and if it will show me your questions now. Let's see. Okay, well thank you to Maura and a bunch of you who have liked this post. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to do these more regularly, and thank you so much for watching. It makes me feel a little bit less silly knowing people are actually watching and I'm not just being a crazy monkey in my dining room. So let's see. So please tell us where to order. I have been quoted crazy prices for things as simple as rhythm sticks. You should not be getting quoted crazy prices. Give me 1 second here, Melissa. I'm going to see if I can bring up this website. Maybe I can show it on I believe it's Little Lovies. Yeah. Okay, so I love this lady. If you're in the US, so is she. She is a retired early childhood music teacher. She has a website where she sells, let's see if I can show you here. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. Little bell trip there. So this is her. Ooh, can you see that? There it is. So I've ordered lots of great products from her in the past. I can't right now because the Canadian dollar is so low. I have to be really selective of where I order things from, and the shipping and the exchange is just too high. But I did get my very first set of early childhood, like 3 and under instruments from her. They're great quality, they're baby safe, they're safe to be mouthed. You want to make sure if you're teaching, especially the little kid classes, like basically under 3, they will continue to put things in their mouths. And while we want to teach them not to do that, they're gonna still do it. And so you need to make sure you're introducing things that are safe. We're not putting out, like I said, rhythm sticks that have got like little cracks or chips in them. You don't want things that can break off into mouths and be choking hazards. So please, please, please make sure you are looking at that. So I'm sure she sells rhythm sticks here. Let's take a peek. Yeah, rhythm sticks. We've got a whole section for that. So for the ones that I have here in wooden, she has them on sale right now as a set for $2.50. So you can get those exact same ones, $2.50 for a set. So if you have on average 10 to 15 people in your class, you're looking at 25 to 30 bucks to do that. Not expensive. You can also check out Amazon. Amazon.com, I know for most of you in the US, has so much stuff. I'm kind of jealous. Amazon in Canada does not have half of this stuff. But let's quickly type that in. Oh look, I've already searched it, rhythm sticks. Wow, rhythm band Lumi sticks. You can get a whole class set here for $25.95. It looks like they come in a bunch of different colors. Scrolling through, a set for $2. Scrolling through, you can find one plain, one fluted, which is what I showed you today, for $1.39. So Amazon is good. Amazon, you can also find a ton of the other props from my last video in. I'm just going to check and see if Empire Music does ship to the US for my American friends. If you're in Canada, definitely go there. Let's see. I feel like they used to ship to the US. I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't think I can find it right now, but it's empiremusic.ca. I will put that down there for you. And they absolutely have the rhythm sticks under rhythm. Let's see what it says under rhythm. Shakers, instruments, rhythm sets. You can find whole class sets of instruments here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, they have sticks for a class set. You get 24 sticks for 39 bucks. There you go. Tons of sticks. So no, you should not be being quoted prices at like over $5 for a set of sticks. Just search, do your research. Again, you're looking, in my opinion, for wooden, one fluted, one plain. That's going to be the best ones there. I think that's it for today. I look and see, I didn't think there was any other questions. Like I said, I will post links in the comments. Once I have that Spotify playlist done, I will post that as well. But if you are on Spotify, I will be adding playlists on a regular basis. You can find me under Intellidance. So just give me a follow there, and you can find that. If you're taking Intellidance classes somewhere else, if you're a parent watching this, hey parents, lots of fun to have at home. You can again, I'm going to be posting curriculum-based playlists. So if you're having fun in classes and playing in class like that too, you can do that. So thank you so much everyone for watching today. Again, like I said, please feel free to email or post any questions, any comments. I love to get back to you. I do have a new session of the Intellidance Method Certification starting on April the 15th. I'll be taking 10 students into that. So if you're really wanting to kind of dig deep into my methodology, I do have that course. You can find information on that at intellidance.ca/certification. It goes over the training program. I also have a video of me talking about it on YouTube. We have students from all over the world. We have a group here on Facebook where we all share, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're interested in learning more and kind of digging deep into the Intellidance method, feel free to check that out. You can always fire me off an email with any questions. And if you just are here because you're already rocking your own preschool classes and you just came to watch to get some more ideas, thank you so much. I am so grateful for those of you who took some time to watch today. And have an awesome day. Thank you, everyone. Play with those sticks, play with those instruments. Sing, sing, sing. Bye.